Hi there, I'm Brian. I've been a creative director, narrative director, animation director, lead writer, storyboard artist, animator, character designer, teacher, and now I'd love to talk story with you. When the phone rings in a movie or a game cinematic and things have been going well, it's going to be bad news. And if things have been going badly and the phone rings, it's going to be good news. This is a pretty straightforward storytelling technique. Basically, the idea is if you're going to introduce a new element, like information delivered via a phone call, but it could be other things like a new character, or a change in the stakes. This new element that you're introducing should significantly change the direction, velocity, tone, mood, feel of the story. Something, not all of those things necessarily, but something important about the story needs to change from this new element being introduced. You might think of it like an equal opposite version of Chekhov's gun, right? Which is that if there's a gun hanging on the wall in Act 1 of the play, then in a later act of the play, someone needs to take the gun down off the wall and use it. Otherwise, why is the gun there? So this is a similar thing. You're going to introduce something new to your story, and it needs to have a major impact or change. Otherwise, what are you doing? Why are you introducing this new element? Now, there are there are exceptions. So for instance, if things are going badly, at a certain point in your story, you might want to introduce new information that just piles on and makes whatever's going badly even worse. There is a place for that in storytelling, but you can't tell your whole story that way, nor should you. So this is a very straightforward tool, and it seems pretty obvious how that works. However, it has multiple applications, and it can actually end up being sort of nuanced. So I just wanted to quickly look at an example today from the Netflix show Mindhunter, which is a really well-written, well-structured, and very well-directed, unsurprisingly, show. So there's a scene in an episode where our little ensemble group is going to get good news. And it's much harder to do a scene where characters get good news than it is where they get bad news, because bad news is kind of exciting. So I wanted to look at this scene. I thought it was just a really great example of the thing I'm kind of talking about, where the good news has to be a change in tone, so the scene is structured so that it is a change in tone. So let's look at the scene.
So he called you directly?
No, Andrea called. Said he wanted to meet with us.
Any idea what this is about?
No, usually it's about finding clarity.
But he asked for me specifically.
All three of us.
Okay, first, obviously, independent of our tool that we're talking about here, adding tension, always a good thing. Tension is the universal seasoning or spice of storytelling. Anytime you can add it, you should add it. And you should add as much as will fit, as much as the story will take. Tension is always going to be useful right up until you break it. So being summoned to your boss's office when you don't quite know why is always going to add a lot of tension. It's obviously an anxiety-inducing experience.
Dr. Carr, Unit Chief Shepard, nice to meet you, finally.
You as well.
Sit. Please, all of you. So, how's everything? Progressing?
Yes, thank you.
Fine, thanks.
Slowly, but yes.
Can I help with anything? Is there anything I need to know?
Sir, if this is about the car.
Nobody cares about the car, Bill. It was insured and I assume driven by your protege.
It's not important who was driving.
I agree. Dr. Carr, I'm aware of your consulting with Bill over the years and your help framing certain psychological concepts with the BSU.
Yes, a handful of times. Special Agent Tench was...
I assume that meant you understood how things were done here at Quantico.
Just an interesting side note here that the section chief is not meeting their eyes. This is just something that, by contrast, a character who's in control and who's delivering news, whether good or bad, will normally make eye contact. They're sort of the more dominant character. So this is just a side thing, but it's really interesting that he's not doing it. And there's a number of interpretations about what that is. The way I read it was that this guy is really angry. And so the lack of eye contact is not evasion or submission. It's like, just, I'm going to grind this news out and I'm going to say it. And I don't want to look at you because I swear to God, I will go off on you.
Assumed the same for your cohorts. You might think it is my job to impede your progress with my insistence on timelines and established protocols.
No, sir, not at all.
That is not my job. My job is to provide guidance and quite a bit of protection.
I don't understand.
Clearly. You have stepped outside the shade of my umbrella and you are now exposed to direct sunlight. I applied for grant money from several sources, anticipating a response months from now. Much to my surprise, the Law Enforcement Assistance Administration was already aware of our needs and activities.
I see. I had no intention of embarrassing you, Unit Chief Shepard. I was at a fundraiser for the university, and I was talking to some...
Yes, you were talking to people outside the FBI about something you were not even supposed to be aware of. The LEAA explained that the application was anticipated. How could that be, I wondered? It seems they know more about what's going on in our basement than I was comfortable including in the application.
I so apologize.
Sir, this is my fault.
Your research has been awarded $200,000.
What?
There's more. As I said, I applied to more than one place for funding. The National Institute of Justice heard about the LEAA, and they are in competition, so the NIJ has awarded you an additional $185,000.
You can't be serious.
This amount of money comes with considerable scrutiny. And I'm not talking about bookkeeping as such, although you will certainly be required to keep meticulous records. I'm talking about Congress having a real interest in everything we do. So much for the protection I might have afforded you. Congratulations, I suppose. Have a nice day.
There you see it, right? It's the whole scene is built with tension, but it's also structured like we're gonna get some bad news, and it keeps kind of going further and further in that direction until they get the good news. And the fact that the characters don't openly celebrate that, they seem a little nonplussed, sort of like, wait, was that your news? The good news here? Is just a great touch, and that really leads to that nice feeling in the elevator where they look like they're on the cover of some record album or something from the 70s. When I point out tools like this in an analytical mode, they may seem incredibly obvious. It may seem like, well, that's not elegant, that's kind of clunky, it's so obvious. But again, as with any storytelling analysis, it's obvious once you understand it and once you understand what's going on. But for most people who are just in the moment experiencing the story, it's a really powerful tool. And to some degree, yes, what I'm telling you is, as you study storytelling more and become more familiar with the various tools and techniques, the less you enjoy story. Because I watched that whole scene going when I watched it the first time a couple of years ago, like, they're gonna get some good news here, right? It just becomes obvious. That said, the great thing about having that much knowledge is when you are surprised by something or just swept away by the hyper competence of it, it's a really special feeling. So anyway, that's the narrative tool for introducing a new element to your story. That's all for now. I'll see you on the next one.